Number 3 in the state, Whitney Young against number 1, Bolingbrook for the 4A Girls State Championship, the final game of the girls basketball season here in the state of Illinois. And Tom McKenna, it's hard to believe that that's already the case. And then we've got 2 more weekends of March Madness in Peoria, and then we're done.
Then it's baseball season. It's very hard to believe, isn't it? Batter up. Well, I would figure.
And I think we're already ready to tee it up too. When you talk about these 2 programs, number 1 in the state versus number 3, and then you talk about it on a national level, both teams ranked in the top 10 according to the national rankings. I mean, it's hard to overstate the significance of this matchup and this game here tonight.
Again, you kind of hope it lives up to its billing. Sometimes, you know, both teams are a little tight or no pressure. Hopefully they both shoot as well as Fenwick and Hersey did. We could have a barn burner here.
Absolutely, and Whitney Young might have that in the back of their mind. I believe it was like 53-26 last year. Got away from them pretty quick.
Yeah, it did get away from them pretty quick. And I liked their intensity last night. I mean, if I had a gut feeling, I don't want to offend anyone, I'd almost go with Whitney Young. They looked really focused last night. I think they probably are remembering last year. They kind of embarrassed themselves.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of a blowout. Whitney, actually, Corey Irvin addressed that last night, talking about that game. Hopefully, we do better than we did a year ago. So 2 years ago they met. It was Whitney Young. Last year it was Bolingbrook. This is the rubber game of the match right here tonight, and it's for all the cliched marbles here tonight in Class 4A. So it's the Dolphins and the Raiders coming up next. Number 1 Bolingbrook playing in its 5th straight state championship game, and for the 3rd straight year, they will take on the Dolphins of Whitney Young. It's the rubber game of the series for the state championship. Next. It's a starry night here in Normal, Illinois. The Class 4A Girls State Basketball Championship. Number 3, Whitney Young. Number 1, Bolingbrook. And when you talk about movies, there was one called The Same Time Next Year. This is the 3rd straight year these 2 teams have met for the state championships. And the famous line from Casablanca, round up the usual suspects. They are here again tonight. The Raiders and the Dolphins have split the last 2 state championships. Who will win the rubber game tonight? Here for the call, Scott Leber and Daryl Kipp.
Thank you, Lee. It's the Yankees against the Red Sox, Duke against North Carolina, or in women's hoops terms, Tennessee against UConn. It doesn't get any bigger than this.
It's a big game. Nice rivalry.
Real quickly, let's look at how these 2 teams got here, and they just steamrolled their way to this championship game. Whitney Young defeating St. Ignatius and Mother McCauley in the sectionals. Super sectional win over Chicago Heights Marion, and in the semis, knocking off Fenwick impressively. The road to normal for Bolingbrook. Hinsdale Central, Aurora, Waubonsie Valley, Edwardsville, and yesterday Arlington Heights, Hersey, all falling by the wayside. Our key players in this game for Whitney Young, a junior point guard who played so well yesterday, Kiana Johnson.
Well, Kiana Johnson did play well. She's got to hit some outside shots and really control the offense and control the tempo of the game for Whitney.
She had 11 points yesterday. Our key player of the game for Bolingbrook, what can you say about Morgan Tuck?
You can't say a lot more, but she's going to be a difference maker in this game. She's got to get the ball inside and score, but she gets some nice passes from Mariel Massengale to set her up.
28 points yesterday. Our keys to the game. Let's start with Whitney Young. What did the Dolphins have to do tonight, Kip?
Well, Whitney Young's got to double the ball inside. They're not very big, and Massengale will really hurt them. They have to drop to the depth of the ball, which means that the guards on the outside, when they penetrate, Massengale, they got to drop and take the ball away from Tuck on the dishes, and they got to keep the confidence factor up that they can really beat Bolingbrook.
If Bolingbrook wants to repeat here as state champs, what do they have to do tonight?
Bolingbrook's got to do some things to get the ball inside. They got Rip and Tuck, but they got to get the ball inside. She's got such strong hands, and she's a difference maker because of her size inside. And they have to defend the perimeter. Whitney Young is a completely different team than last year. They shoot a lot of threes, and they can't let Whitney Young just shoot those threes. I'm sure Bolingbrook's going to be playing that man-to-man defense all over them. And no foul play, which means they just don't want to put Whitney Young at the free throw line because they make their free throw shots, and that'll let them score points and stay in the game.
We have a spirited crowd here on hand. On Thursday when I was here for the shoot-around, the coaches, I wanted to get a feel for the rivalry between these 2 schools. They didn't really want to get into it, but you know, no victory for these 2 teams is bigger than a win against the other team.
That's true, but you got to remember, Whitney Young's a complete different team than they were last year. Their offensive sets are different, their players are different, and if they go into the game thinking, you know, just make up for last year, it's not going to happen. They got to play the game this year, and they got to go to their strengths in this team, not last year's team.
Let's get down to it. Let's play some basketball, but first let's send it over to PA announcer Jeff Fritzen to meet tonight's teams.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting lineups for the Class 4A 2010 IHSA Girls State Basketball Championship game. First from Whitney Young High School, number 1, a junior, Kiana Johnson. From Bolingbrook, number 12, a senior, Mercedes Griffin. For Whitney Young, number 15, a freshman, Lene Harper. For Bolingbrook, number 15, a junior, Taylor Tuck. For Whitney Young, number 24, a junior, Braisha Blair. For Bolingbrook, number 22, a junior, Ariel Massengale. For Whitney Young, number 32, a sophomore, Alexis Lloyd. For Bolingbrook, number 34, a senior, Nicosia Henry. For Whitney Young, number 34, a senior, Jillian Askew. And for Bolingbrook, number 44, a sophomore, Morgan Tuck. Whitney Young brings a 28-2 record into tonight's championship game. The Dolphins are coached by Corey Irvin in her 9th year with a record of 240 wins and 40 losses. Bolingbrook brings a 28-1 record into the game. The Raiders are coached by Anthony Smith in his 9th year with a record of 246 wins and 26 losses. Your championship game officials are John Cyprian, Darnell Jones, and Randy Steen. And now, fans, before a soloist sings our national anthem, we ask you to remember and honor the men and women of the United States Armed Forces serving throughout the world with this moment of silence. Thank you. And now, please join our guest soloist, Tasia Malaris, a student at Carl Sandburg High School, in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now, as the players and coaches wish each other good luck at half court, the IHSA Board of Directors and member schools expect and promote good sportsmanship from all athletes, coaches, students, parents, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Remember to do what's right.
Another glance at your starting lineups for Whitney Young: Johnson, Harper, Blair, Lloyd, and Askew. For Bolingbrook, Griffin, Tuck, Massengale, Henry, and Tuck. In last year's game, Bolingbrook took charge right from the get-go, leading 19-8 after the first quarter, 31-14 at halftime. And Bolingbrook rolled to the victory 53-29. Coach Corey Irvin of Whitney Young said her team played horrible last year and she expects a better effort here tonight.
And it came down to strength and ability to get the ball inside, and that's what happened with the game last year, and it could be the same story this year if they get the ball inside the tuck.
Morgan Tuck had 17 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 block shots in the championship game last year. Yeah, Whitney Young doesn't have a true post player this year. It'll be interesting to see what they can attempt to do to try to contain Tuck here.
And their top rebounder is Lene Harper, who's their point guard.
A matchup I'm looking forward to seeing is Ariel Massingale, the quick guard for the Raiders, against all these quick guards, including Kiana Johnson for Whitney Young.
Well, Massingale still has an advantage.
Stronger player, a little bigger. All right, we're going to jump it up here at center court. Taylor Tuck will jump it up for Bolingbrook. And Jillian Askew for the Dolphins. Batted around.
This is a very good officiating crew, so this game should be officiated very well.
Ariel Massingale, number 22, has it. Goes by Johnson, streaking to the hole. Awkward shot. And a steal there by Mercedes Griffin.
And Griffin got in foul trouble early last game, and this is she just got to be on the floor for them. She really does a lot.
She gave them a lot on the defensive end last night, indeed. Taylor Tuck has it. She had a good game last night, 8 points, 8 rebounds for Bolingbrook.
Yeah, right away they tried to get Massingale posted up inside.
Mercedes Griffin on the dribble here. Off to Massingale. She'll penetrate the D. Kick out. Taylor Tuck.
Had a layup there, and she just didn't go all the way to the hole.
Bolingbrook likes to play up-tempo, but they won't rush things. Look inside. There's Morgan Tuck's first shot off the mark.
She was triple teamed. Somebody's got to be open if she's going to get triple teamed like that.
Kiana Johnson, outstanding junior point guard here for Whitney Young. She's their leading scorer at 11.2 points per game. It's a very balanced offense for Whitney Young. A lot of girls who average between 7 and 11 points. Johnson saves it, but it's grabbed by Bolingbrook, and Massingale walked through. The tournament history for Whitney Young is impressive. Their 6th appearance at state, champions 2 years ago in a victory over Bolingbrook. 2nd place last year, of course, and a couple of 3rd place finishes.
And both teams are kind of like feeling each other out, trying to see what they can run on offense.
This is the freshman Lene Harper, cut off.
And that's the kind of shot that Bolingbrook would love Whitney Young to take.
Yeah, they'll let Nicosia Henry take that. The pass too far there for Morgan Tuck, and the Raiders turn it over. Bolingbrook's tournament history, their 6th appearance at state. Champions in 2006 and last year. 2nd place in 07 and 08, and a 4th place finish as well. Both these teams nationally ranked as well as state ranked. Kiana Johnson creating, draws a foul.
We said one of the keys to the game was not to foul them.
That's
get them at the free throw line, because they're going to be able to stay right in the game if they can get some points with the charity stripe.
That is on Morgan Tuck, and Whitney Young would love nothing more than to get her in foul trouble tonight. Kiana Johnson has her first point, and the first point of the game. This is her first year as the starting point guard. She also averages 4 steals a game and 5.1 assists. Tuck with the rebound there. We saw her handle it yesterday on the dribble at 6'2".
Yeah, last year, Ariel Massingale and the other guards from Bolingbrook just abused the Whitney Young guards inside because they were so much bigger and stronger. And then when they had to go to the zone defense because they had the 2 small guards in, Bolingbrook really took advantage with Tuck hitting a couple outside threes.
Alexis Lloyd picked up that foul. You saw the graphic there. The only loss this year for Bolingbrook was to a California team, Polytech. Both teams, in fact, both of these teams lost to that Polytech team. Whitney Young can rack up the points when they start their offense with their defense many times, with their pressure D. Kiana Johnson against Mercedes Griffin. Griffin, an outstanding defender. Johnson for the deep 3-0. And a shoving foul as Tuck had position for the rebound. Bolingbrook, look at that, put 102 points on the board against New Lenox back in January. Only 35 in that loss to Polytech.
That was in the first game of the Nike tournament out in Arizona.
Low scoring start to this one, but you might expect that because of the defense and scrappiness that these two teams play. Ariel Massengale being harassed there by Johnson. Baseline cut off there. Massengale with the shot. Griffin the rebound.
That's a shot you'd rather see Massengale take than a layup, that's for sure.
Taylor Tuck with a runner in the paint of Union. Taylor Tuck and Morgan Tuck are sisters. Taylor's a junior, Morgan just a sophomore. There's going to be a travel call against Nicosia Henry. Going to have a timeout on the floor here and a low-scoring start to this one. It's a network timeout on the IHSA TV network. Back to back to back. These teams impressive. Bolingbrook last year knocking off Whitney Young, and the year before it was Whitney Young beating Bolingbrook. So this is the rubber match here tonight. Whitney Young, so far, Daryl Kipp has 3 turnovers off the get-go, 0 of 2 from the field, so their offense is sputtering here at the beginning.
Well, they're going to have a hard time making those outside shots like they did against the zone yesterday because Bolingbrook is right up on them.
Whitney Young right into its full court press here, and that's their bread and butter. Denial knocked out of bounds, but Bolingbrook will maintain possession.
You have to set some picks to get somebody open instead of just running to the basketball here. They're face guarding, denying the ball and switching it.
Again, Kiana Johnson knocks it out of bounds. Nicosia Henry looking to inbound it. That's Morgan Tuck going right back for Henry. She'll bring it into the front court. 2-on-2. Kick out. Ariel Massengale can't get it to go. Jillian Askew gives it up. Janae Thompson is number 11 who's checked into the game, and they throw the ball away.
So when there's a turnover or a change of possession, you can't run the baseline to get the ball in. It makes it much tougher.
Massengale brings it ahead. Griffin looking for Tuck inside. She was sandwiched and lost it out of bounds.
Well, here we go. We know that Morgan Tuck can score. We know she's strong. We know Morgan Tuck can catch the ball and put the ball in the basket, and she can shoot. She's going to be tested another part of her skill and another part of her game. She's going to have to be able to pass out of the post because they're triple and double teaming her, and people are open all over the floor.
Scoop shot up and in there by Janae Thompson. Bolingbrook pushing the temple. Taylor Tuck goes up and gets fouled. Taylor Tuck averages 4.7 a game. As I said, she had 8 points in the semifinals last night.
Taylor Tuck's got a lot of skills. She's a little overshadowed by her younger sister because of how good she was early. But Taylor Tuck can do a lot of things on the floor.
Deja Dissou came in for Whitney Young. She wears number 55. Janae Thompson running the point here. Working against Massengale. Johnson against Griffin now. Tuck batting that pass away inside, comes away with a turnover.
And they got the numbers, but she holds it up.
Nicosia Henry.
Maybe she doesn't hold it up.
Henry looking inside. Tuck will bounce out front to get it. Head fake. Spin move. And she is into the scoring column here.
There was one time she didn't get the double team. They didn't rotate over to take that spin away from her.
The Tuck sisters have all 6 Bolingbrook points here in the early stages. Pass from Thompson, a difficult one, and Whitney Young gets away with it. Last touch by Bolingbrook.
The angles they're making those passes at are just bad. They need to get to a better angle so that the passes don't get deflected.
Shanice Jenkins, number 13, comes into the contest.
Now this is their best outside shooter, even though she's been injured most of the year.
She missed the entire regular season with an injury, just came back for the postseason. She was a big part of Whitney Young's run a year ago. Alexis Lloyd with a runner off the glass. She stepped up last night off the bench with double digits in scoring. Fast tempo, that's what we expect to see tonight. Henry had the ball swatted out of bounds. Every shot's going to get challenged in this game. Ariel Massengale posting up as a guard.
She's triple teamed inside.
Lene Harper, the outstanding freshman, going to the hole with it here. Won't go. Taylor Tuck corrals the loose ball. Massengale with the lob down low for Morgan Tuck. Oh, she gets the roll and the foul. Massengale was looking for her the whole way on this drive.
She's so strong, it's just a little bit of a bump, and she can control her body and get the ball in the basket.
We mentioned yesterday she's wearing a knee brace on her left knee. She tore an ACL last summer trying out for the Team USA U16 team in Colorado, and she has come back so well from that serious knee injury to be, once again, one of the top players in the state of Illinois this year.
Well, she would have made that team if it wasn't for her injury, and it's going to be interesting to see if Massengale and Tuck get opportunities this summer to play with that team.
Saw her snatch down the rebound there, 3-on-2, 4-on-2. Henry with it, can't finish. Mercedes Griffin, though, with a rebound. No, Taylor Tuck will try, and she draws the foul. And the Raiders do have the size advantage, and it showed there. Shanice Jenkins picks up that foul.
It's not a lot that Whitney Young can do once Tech gets the ball inside because they're so tall.
So it's still the 2 Tuck sisters who have accounted for all the points for Bolingbrook, each sister with 5, 10 for Bolingbrook, and Morgan Tuck's going to get an early breather here at the end of this first quarter. And Taylor Tuck off to a great start tonight with 6 points already. Kiana Johnson brings it ahead against Griffin. Janae Thompson shoots, will not fall. And Ariel Massengale got tripped up there, and she's called for the travel.
Whitney Young did a good job right there using the sideline as an extra defender and just kind of cut her off, and she lost her balance and went down. They were trying to trap or double her over there, but they're also using that baseline, and that really helps out.
Class 4A state championship game you're watching here from Redbird Arena. Kiana Johnson with a scoop shot rejected there by Capers.
Yeah, Capers is a transfer from Minnesota that came to Bolingbrook this year.
Cabriana Capers, she plays a lot of minutes off the bench, 6'1", only a sophomore. She has a very high ceiling. And they can afford, Bolingbrook and Coach Anthony Smith, to give Tuck a rest now and then because they have Capers to turn to in the post. Tuck's going to come back in for her sister, Taylor Tuck.
This makes them even a little bit stronger inside.
Yeah, got the Twin Towers now with Taylor and Tuck. Kiana Johnson can't get that free throw to go. Rebound by Capers, and she was fouled.
Fouled by Lloyd.
The only good part about that is for Whitney Young, it allows them to set up their full court press here.
And she cannot run the baseline again.
Kosia Henry has to make a good decision on the inbound, gets it to Massengale. Griffin dumps it down low for Morgan Tuck. Easy flip, but she missed it.
Just didn't turn her head and see the rim before she released that shot.
Spinning shot in the lane won't fall. Capers.
It was altered by Tuck on that. She saw her there and just turned around and didn't want to put the ball right into her hand.
Another turnover, though, by Bolingbrook, and Whitney Young turns it right back on the travel. Jillian Askew, number 34, is back in for Whitney Young. Allie Hill comes in, number 32 for Bolingbrook. She contributed 6 points off the bench last night.
It's a left-handed three-point specialist.
Massengale, right of the lane, off the glass and good. So she's the first player for Bolingbrook other than the Tuck sisters to score in this game. Here's the freshman Harper, working hard for her shot. Whitney Young right back into the press. Kosia Henry gets it into the front court. Massengale drives on Kiana Johnson, draws some contact, and gets the bucket.
That's just what they did last year. Massengale took the ball inside, and just her sheer strength over the Whitney Young guards made such a big difference.
Final seconds of the quarter, number one. Harper trying for position, shuffled her feet. So the Raiders will get the final shot of the quarter if they can beat this press. Massengale comes to get the ball. She's gonna go all the way with it. In and out, Capers the rebound. No, out of bounds with less than a second remaining. Let's see if they can lob it to one of the post players.
Well, they can get a shot off if they get it off quickly. It doesn't have to be a lob with 9/10 left.
Henry inbounds. Massengale gets it off in time, but can't get it to drop. So we have reached the end of the first quarter. It's Bolingbrook with the early lead at 15-8. It's a local timeout on the IHSA TV network.
Bolingbrook, 15-8, Bolingbrook the lead over Whitney Young. We're with Calvin Davis. He is the Director of Sports Administration for the Chicago Public Schools. Been a great run for the Public League. Whitney Young especially, boys state championship a year ago. This is the third straight year for the girls.
Yes, the girls are building a dynasty over there. Coach Irvin, what a great atmosphere it is here tonight. The state championship game is the ultimate game for any student athlete.
There's been some reports come out that funding issues could impact Chicago Public School sports in the near future. Any truth to that?
Well, Lee, I think there's a concern statewide based on the reports we're getting. And of course, the Chicago Public Schools is concerned as well. And I'm sure will do everything they can to maintain a great interscholastic athletic program that we have in Chicago.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Calvin Davis, Director of Sports Administration, for the Chicago Public Schools. Our thanks to him. Back over to you guys.
Thank you, Lee. Last year at the end of the first quarter, Bolingbrook led in the title game 19-8. Here it is 15-8 Bolingbrook.
Whitney Young's just not having good shots.
Lene Harper's shot, she was challenged and fouled by Tuck, and that will be 2 on her.
It was called by John Ciprian. John Ciprian, the referee in this game's sister, was an outstanding all-state basketball player at Maine South when they were rated #1 in the state the entire year.
How about this freshman at the line, Lene Harper, Coach? She's
an
already
all-state player.
special.
Yes, she is.
She averaged a double-double during the season, 10.8 points, 10.2 rebounds. Coach Irvin says she's not surprised by what she's achieved this year. She still makes some freshman mistakes, but Coach Irvin says that Harper is a smaller version of Amanda Thompson, a former Whitney Young player who is now a senior at Oklahoma. She's one of those players who can play any position, and she can do a little bit of everything.
I think she shoots better than Amanda Harper already. Or Amanda Thompson, I'm sorry.
Massengale brings it ahead, and the tempo is quick in this one. She pulls up to pop it. No.
Oh, and that was supposed to be another foul on Tuck from behind.
Yeah, Coach Smith leaving her in there with those 2 fouls very early on here in the second quarter. Janae Thompson reloads the offense. Shanice Jenkins, she can hit the outside shots, but not that time. Massengale again, quick strike. Nicosia Henry has it. Capers is still in the game for Bolingbrook, so they have the two big post players on the floor. Massengale going to drive through the lane, and she draws the foul.
Got that quick first step and a lot of power going up. Once she gets by, she got that little jump stop. 1 foot to 2 feet. Power's right up off the 2 feet.
Lene Harper got the ball, but Shanice Jenkins committed the foul on the reach. Ariel Massengale, All-State player, only a junior, has her 5th point. Now Morgan Tuck's going to sit down with those 2 fouls, and Taylor Tuck is back in.
A lot of players will go up there with 1 foot like a layup, but she jump stops to the 2 feet and has much more power going up, which gives her an ability to score and get fouled at the same time.
Rebound out of bounds. They could not handle it. Whitney Young, our stats from Menards. Save big money at Menards. End of the first quarter. There you see neither team shooting particularly well from the field. A lot of that's due to some great defense, and the board's totally in favor of taller Bolingbrook, 15-6 in that first quarter.
Now Bolingbrook's going small, kind of trying to match up with the Whitney Young guards. This will give Whitney Young maybe a little bit of an advantage to score.
Thanks to Menards again for those stats. Remember, save big money at Menards. Whitney Young with the defensive stop. Kiana Johnson brings it ahead. Open shot by Janae Thompson won't go. Backside rebound will not fall for Askew, and it's out of bounds to Whitney Young.
See, that's the peril you go through when you put a smaller lineup. Now he's coming right back with the bigger lineup now. Rebounds are a key.
Cabriana Capers comes back in. Kiana Johnson to inbound. The deep ball. Shanice Jenkins ahead. And that's going to be a reaching foul on Nicosia Henry.
Just reach across her body. Coaches hate that foul that far out on the floor. There's no reason to foul when you're way out on the perimeter.
Janae Thompson working with a crossover. Alexis Lloyd going strong, draws the foul, and that'll be on Capers. Another look at that one. Alexis Lloyd, she can provide some offense. We saw that last night.
See the replay there? See how she tried to block that ball with her right hand? If she'd go up and block the ball with her left hand, her body stays away and she probably gets a little bit of deflection there. But when you block across someone's body, that's where the foul contact comes. You need to block with the left hand. Girls who play basketball need to learn that. If you're right-handed, don't always try and block with that right hand. Go with your left. Stay away from contact.
Capers is only a sophomore, so she'll learn that as time goes along. Morgan Tuck now back into the game with those 2 fouls. Capers sits down. Lloyd hits her free throw. Henry ahead quickly. Griffin getting pressure by Johnson. Kick out, quick movement. Offensive foul on the charge. Nicosia Henry.
Without Morgan Tuck in the game, they don't really have much of an inside presence offensively.
They did bring Tuck in just moments ago. Now she's going to go back out. Capers comes right back in. So was that just
offense to defense, situation?
Okay.
Yeah, trying to keep away from the fouls on defense, but help her out on. Did the same thing with Hill just a little bit before. They brought her in for the offensive set, put Capers back in for the defensive set.
Janae Thompson, slick ball handler, dumps it off. Oh, the fans from Bolingbrook wanted a traveling call, so did Coach Smith. Didn't get it there.
It wasn't more than 2 or 3 steps.
Alexis Lloyd out front. Quick pass. Thompson wants to drive on Massengale. Pretty move. Couldn't finish, and Massengale snatches down the rebound, and Bolingbrook off and running. Massengale somehow to the corner where I saw Griffin, but she threw it away. Ariel Massengale in the championship games against Whitney Young 2 years ago exploded for 22 points. That was as a freshman. 8 points a year ago. hit a few threes a couple years ago, not last year. She exploded onto the state basketball scene here. Shanae Jenkins on the dribble. Puts it up over Capers, no. And Massengale with a chance to run with it on the break. Spin move. Henry was challenged, but she makes the follow-up. Back and forth we go.
Taylor Tuck on the block.
Right. Back and forth we go. Check it out again. Taylor Tuck from the backside. Swatting away that shot by Alexis Lloyd. Johnson on the inbound, up and under shot.
Yep.
Good call, Coach. Well, the turnovers are mounting in this game. We have 7 turnovers apiece, now 8 for Whitney Young, and when you play that pressure defense, you're going to see some of that. Tuck is back in. Morgan Tuck on offense now. An 8-point Bolingbrook lead. They're led by 7 points at the end of the first quarter.
Bolingbrook's not really clicking on offense like they usually do either.
Tuck coming up high, wants the ball, gets it.
Got an open floor, nobody inside. 5 out, none in. Looking for the drive, penetration.
Taylor Tuck to her sister. Coach Anthony Smith up calling out some instructions. Morgan Tuck, spinner in the lane. Griffin the rebound, she'll bring it out.
That's how we said Griffin needs to remain in the game. I mean, she's real valuable to this team.
She's such an energy player, energy on defense, energy hitting the boards. Thought that might have been a kicking violation. In any case, Bolingbrook's going to maintain possession of the basketball.
She dropped it off her knee, I believe.
We have a timeout on the floor. We'll take a local break with Bolingbrook out in front, 18-10. All right, back here at Redbird Arena, 4:15 to go in this second quarter. Bolingbrook has led pretty much throughout this first half of play.
Bolingbrook's trying to open the floor up and put 5 out, none in. They're getting Taylor Tuck with the ball up top. The only problem with that is you got to be real careful because Taylor's putting the ball on the floor. She's clearing out with her offhand and she's doing some hooking with her offhand. Referee spots that. That's her 3rd foul. I mean, I'd rather put her inside and just let her power the ball up and not try to drive so much. You can pick up that 3rd foul offensively pretty easily.
Mercedes Griffin hits from downtown, her first bucket of the night. And there's a rejection by Henry. Massengale, a long look ahead for Griffin. Boy, a lot of quickness out there on the floor, and a reaching foul is going to go against Janae Thompson of Whitney Young. And we talk about how when other teams play these two teams, you cannot simulate their quickness. These two teams, they know quickness. They're all about quickness.
Yeah, the only way you can simulate this is to practice against the boys, and a lot of these teams do. They play against the boys all the time in practice, and that gives you a little bit of the same thing, but it's different when you're playing against girls, even with that. They got Tuck out of the game now, so it's going to save her probably for the rest of the half unless they sputter on offense.
Whitney Young has only 10 points so far, and one thing Whitney Young is lacking in addition to a post player is that reliable scorer. When you need a bucket, somebody who you know can knock down the shot. They got a lot of girls who can put the ball in a hole, but they don't have that big-time scorer.
Well, they're relying a lot on one-on-one basketball. Penetrate, dish, and they're not getting much penetration.
Well, they got
when they are penetrating, they're getting too deep into the key to make those passes.
Janae Thompson had the effort there on the drive. Massengale having some trouble in the backcourt with the ball, and Anthony Smith wants a timeout, throws a life preserver out there to his girls.
There's a couple different philosophies on your offensive sets. You can go one-on-one, or you can set a lot of screens, and both of these teams are a lot of one-on-one basketball.
Bolingbrook, let's go over to Lee Hall right now. Lee's getting into position. He's hustling just as quick as these girls are out here on the floor.
Yeah, I don't have quite the stamina, guys. An update on Uniqua Hampton from earlier today, if you were with us. Uniqua Hampton of Hillcrest, yeah, she took a pretty hard hit there. They had to take her out of the game with just a few minutes to go in the championship game. They took her to Broman Hospital here nearby. Dr. Randolph, plastic surgeon, did a lot of work with her. 50 stitches and some plastic surgery. Coach Maniotis just called us a while ago to give us an update. Unique was back home. She's with her teammates watching tonight, and our best to her. I've had several people come up and ask me how she was. My daughters are here with the game with me. They've been worried sick about her all day. They wanted to know how she's doing. She's back home. I'm sure she's got a heck of a headache, 50 stitches and plastic surgery, but what a great player, and I just hated to see her have to leave that game early today, but thankfully she's going to be okay, guys.
That was a scary moment for anybody who was watching at the time, and yeah, we do wish her the best in her recovery. Bolingbrook's ball, careless pass there, and here comes Whitney Young with it on the break. Nice kickback. Oh, Mercedes Griffin with the block. That draws a standing ovation from the bench. Here comes Massengale for the pull-up. Wow. Momentum big now on the side of Bolingbrook, up by 15. What a defensive play there by Griffin. That doesn't show up in the stats, that kind of defensive effort. Johnson's long shot, way short.
Ooh, why'd you try to save that? Don't think it was deflected.
Taylor Tuck looking for her sister, not there.
And then Marisengale's going to take control and set the things up and get a nice easy shot here instead of rushing it now. That's experience and composure and basketball IQ.
Oh, Massengale just slipped out there on the floor. Hopefully she's okay. I don't know if there's some moisture on the court or what, but she just lost her footing there.
It's called traction and it's called friction, and when you're going 100 miles an hour, you can lose control of your car or you can lose control of your shoes. Same thing. She's going so fast that there was just no traction there.
She stays in the game. No, she's coming out now. You can see she's limping a little bit.
Yeah, she's going to need a little ice on that maybe. Walk it off.
She is such a key player for this Bolingbrook squad.
And she's going down the tunnel to walk it off.
Hopefully she'll be just fine here. Janae Thompson on the dribble drive.
Got a double high stack with 2 picks, and there's a go.
Boy, she just broke free there for the easy shot.
Yeah, they didn't hedge on that pick, and she's able to get right by. She's so quick, too.
Bolingbrook needs a timeout against that full court press.
That's the second timeout.
Whitney Young needs to make a run here. They get a hoop. Force the timeout. Both these teams nationally ranked coming in to this game. Bolingbrook with a record of 28-1, and Whitney Young a record of 28-2. Neither team has lost to an in-state opponent this season. Bolingbrook making its 5th straight championships game appearance in the finals here. With the YourSeason.com fun fact, Whitney Young against Bolingbrook, 3rd straight in a row year in a row we have seen this matchup between these two, and a lot of underclassmen on these two teams. So you know it's not inconceivable they could both be back here next year.
Yeah, there's a lot of records there. They're all first. A lot of the teams playing the same game, and the number of appearances. Bolingbrook's just been a basketball factory there.
It's the first time it's ever happened where the same two squads have met in 3 consecutive championship games.
A lot of it has to do with the pairings, too. Luckily, they've been in opposite brackets every time, so they haven't met for the championship. Lots got to do with that, too. Maybe the 4A system, the 4 classes have had something to do with that, but it doesn't always happen like that.
Great turnout by the fans for these schools. The lower bowl here pretty well filled up at Redbird Arena. All right, Bolingbrook goes back to work against the press. Massengale wants it and gets it.
They got tucked back in offensively. They'll probably take her back out on defense if they get the opportunity.
Massengale double team, lost her balance, but got rid of it.
Whitney Young's trying to do a little trapping, trying to get him to turn the ball over.
Massengale with the air ball there, and here comes Whitney Young with Harper, the freshman. Nicosia Henry got a hand on the ball and was coming right for us there.
That's right where Pumpkin landed, too, this morning.
We don't need to see that again.
She probably saw that replay, so that's why she pulled up a little bit.
Yeah, she did. She saw you there ready to take the charge.
Yeah, I was getting out of the way.
13-point Bolingbrook lead. Johnson puts the ball on the floor and then puts the shot up. No. Follow-up will not go there for Askew, but that one will go.
And Lloyd got a nice offensive board, sticking with it.
Massengill had it batted away. Kiana Johnson with a great defense. Harper, free throw line to Johnson, who's open. Boy, the Dolphins need some of those to fall.
Yeah, they just haven't had an opportunity to get their feet set on those threes like they did against Hersey's zone.
They're shooting 20% from the field. They're 5 of 24, Whitney Young is. Kosia Henry here. Final minute of this first half of the 4A championship game. Griffin kicks it out to Taylor Tuck. Contact but no whistles, and Taylor Tuck scores.
Nice finger roll. You haven't seen that too much down here. Somebody being able to finger roll the ball in like that, but that was just real sweet.
Janae Thompson pulls up. Kiana Johnson with a runner. Oh, pretty play. And they stepped out of bounds on the inbound on the near steal attempt by Whitney Young as number 11, Janae Thompson, was out of bounds.
Again, Bolingbrook could have run the baseline on that and gotten a better angle to get that pass inbounds, but now they can't. So it's a dead ball.
Allie Hill is checked in for Taylor Tuck for Bolingbrook. Massengale bringing it ahead one-on-one with Lene Harper back. She pulls up and cans it.
Stop and pop.
Kiana Johnson calls out the play.
And that's the best shot in basketball, right in front of the basket, right in the middle of the key. But you have to make it. There are no rebounders.
Tough pass inside in traffic, and they won't get the shot off in time. So our first half has come to an end, and much like last year, it is Bolingbrook that is in control with the 29-16 lead.
Stand by for the presentation of the third and fourth place individual and team awards.
Coach Anthony Smith staying in the huddle there with his ladies with some instructions before they even head to the locker room here. We're going to take a network timeout. We'll be back with our halftime information and stats right after this.
You see that?
We're at halftime of the final girls basketball game of the state of Illinois this season, the 4A state championship. It's Bolingbrook leading Whitney Young 29-16. Lee Hall, Tom McKenna back at our National Association of Realtors studios here at Redbird Arena. Boy, this is not what Corey Irvin wanted to see after last year's debacle, really, in the state championship game. Her team down here by double digits at the break.
Very reminiscent of that. I didn't want to see it either because I called last year's game to be down to the wire, and I thought this year's would also. No, I think she has a long laundry list of things she has to go over with at halftime.
Can you give us an idea of what some of those might be?
They've lost their poise offensively, number one. They've lost Bolingbrook in transition. You know, Bolingbrook's having a little trouble getting the ball in bounds, but once they get the ball in bounds, Whitney Young is not picking it up in transition. And then they have to remember it's not just Tuck. We keep talking Tuck, Tuck, Tuck. How about Massengale? I mean, she's basically taking this game over.
Yeah. For Bolingbrook, a good offensive half, 29 points here at the break.
And it's funny, he's playing offense defense with Tuck when she got her second foul. I thought that Whitney Young did a pretty nice job the first couple of times, almost quadrupling down instead of doubling down. But she's been very patient, hasn't really forced much else. And yeah, Whitney Young is really going to have to pick it up in the second half. This is not a team I want to be down double digits to.
Absolutely not. Let's take a look at our stats brought to us by Menards. Save big money at Menards, and there you see the 24% shooting for Whitney Young here in the first half. You're not going to beat anybody doing that. 0 for 6 from three-point range.
Although Bolingbrook's only shooting 35%, but look at that, 27 rebounds to 14. There's the difference. There's another thing, Whitney Young's not doing a very good job of taking away second shots from Bolingbrook at all.
18-10, the points in the paint. I guess that's not a real big surprise when you got Morgan Tuck in there.
No, I don't think that is a real big surprise. And basically, both teams are even at points off turnovers. But actually, I'm a bit surprised with how well Bolingbrook's handling Whitney Young's pressure. They're really handling it very well.
Whitney Young able to force a few turnovers there kind of late in the second quarter, but it didn't really do much of a dent on the scoreboard. Lloyd with just 5 points to lead the way for Whitney Young. Thompson and Johnson with 4 each. Massengale, as you mentioned, Coach, 11 points. to lead the way. And actually, Morgan Tuck is third in scoring on Bolingbrook right now. Taylor Tuck, her sister, second in scoring.
Right, doing a nice job. And they did a nice job of distributing the ball. It's almost like Massengale's taking the game over. Whitney Young, who really depended on that three-point shot, did not hit many threes at all. I missed the stat on that, but they're not in sync offensively. And again, I go back to, do I want to be down double digits to Bolingbrook? I don't think so.
Yeah, well, I can't do much about that. They have to come out and do something about it here in the second half. We're back at Redbird Arena after this local timeout.
Well, we are back with you at Redbird Arena where it's halftime and Bolingbrook in command here. Scott Lubbert, Daryl Kipp with you. Daryl, same script as last year. Last year at halftime, Bolingbrook led it 31-14. Tonight at halftime, Bolingbrook in command again, 29-16.
Well, Bolingbrook's did a good job of taking the three-point shot away from Whitney, and last night they shot a lot of three-point shots. They don't get anything inside, and the penetration on the dishes, they're turning the ball over a lot. So defense for Bolingbrook is really taking it to Whitney, and their size it's the size factor inside too.
Yeah, as we saw in the stats, Bolingbrook a huge advantage on the boards. Let's check out the highlights here from the first half. Taylor Tuck had a very nice first half for Bolingbrook.
Taylor Tuck's an outstanding player. I mean, like I said, she's a little bit in her sister's shadow, but she can play.
That was Morgan Tuck there. She had only 5 points in the first half. Nice shot off the glass there by Alexis Lloyd for Whitney Young. And Ariel Massengale, she was huge in the first half.
It's just strength going to the basket. I mean, her outside shot isn't falling, but she's able to get to the basket and finish those shots inside. We said at the beginning of the game they have to finish, and they did.
Mercedes Griffin knocked down the three, and then Kiana Johnson there hitting that shot for Whitney Young, and then Massengale one more time as she is the leading scorer in the first half with 11 points. Taylor Tuck with 8, Morgan Tuck with 5. Alexis Lloyd leads Whitney Young with 5 points. We'll take a network timeout. We'll come back. We will crown a champion as we have 2 quarters of basketball remaining here at Redbird Arena. And speaking of Subway, time for a look at our Subway sub of the game, and it is Janae Thompson of Whitney Young. Thompson contributed 4 points off the bench, the 5'6" sophomore, so she is our Subway sub of the game. Get any regular footlong for $5 at Subway. Eat fresh.
Janae Thompson's got great explosion to her right. She can stop and just go right up and elevate and shoot right over people. She did that yesterday and did a good job today when she came in.
You know, one young lady we haven't really talked about, Daryl, is from Bolingbrook, Fallon Edwards, who is a very good player, but she's not playing tonight. She's missed several games with an injury this season, and Bolingbrook's been getting it done without her. She is a key player. Yeah,
it's a torn ACL, and Fallon is a great player for them. I think that she's one of their go-to girls, and I think that's hurt their scoring a little bit late in the season.
She has been here, though, supporting her team from the bench. All right, ready for the second half of the state championship game in 4A. Who wants it? Right now, Bolingbrook in command. Taylor Tuck gets it in play to Massengale. Lene Harper is guarding Massengale, the freshman.
She's doing a lot of holding in there. There's a lot of shoving inside. It was lucky that Massengale got through that half without her third foul. Some coaches have a philosophy, if you got 2 fouls, they just take you out and don't play you again. And some coaches let you play with it earlier in the year. That's my philosophy. You have to learn how to play with fouls. So I let my kids play even if they foul out early.
Well, Mercedes Griffin just broke one of your rules. Too much dribbling out there, and she lost the ball.
Yeah, there wasn't much passing there.
34 and Negotiate Henry. That's her third personal. First team foul of the half.
That was due to spacing. They got 2 players together, and they were able just to come off and double the ball. Bolingbrook generally keeps real good spacing on the floor.
Harper goes in on Tuck, rolls off the rim. Massengale has the rebound. Massengale off to Taylor Tuck for her sister Morgan. Inside, deflected away. Nice defense there by Alexis Lloyd.
The only reason she missed that shot was because of balance. She went in with 1 foot instead of gathering and going up like she generally does. Trying to shoot a layup instead of a power-up. The big difference in those 2 shots.
Paul Minkall on the Dolphins turns it back over to Bolingbrook, and that's the last thing the Dolphins need is turnovers.
And they can't afford that.
It's their 9th of the game. Kosia Henry picks up her dribble. Taylor Tuck, back to Henry. Boy, number 34, Jillian Askew, really working hard on defense against Tuck, trying to deny her, and is that the foul on Tuck?
Third foul on Tuck. That's, you know, if they're gonna clean it up, they need to clean it up on both players.
My hat's off to Nicosia Henry, or Jillian Askew, excuse me, working really hard on Tuck on the denial. Kiana Johnson brings it ahead, right down the lane, draws the foul. Well, she can create. She's the leading scorer on this team, averaging 11.2 points per game. Kiana has 4 points tonight.
Whitney Young's got a lot of penetration right down the middle of the key, but they haven't really finished many of those layups, and that's been a problem for them, and they're not getting fouled. Now, there they did, but when they go in, you got to finish those layups or get a nice dish.
Whitney Young is shooting just 23% from the field tonight. A lot of concentration there, but it wouldn't fall for Kiana. The two head coach, as you know, inside, boy, their emotions are just churning with all the marbles on the table in this one. Johnson trims it to a 12-point Bolingbrook lead, and Bolingbrook looking for the quick strike. Taylor Tuck, too hard. Rebound slapped out of bounds. Massengale to save it. And that wasn't Massengale. Massengale going for it. Griffin on the save. And Nicosia Henry got a piece of that ball out of bounds. Going to go to Bolingbrook.
A lot of quick hands in there, and just couldn't control the basketball.
Tuck to inbound against pressure. Massengale
Nice
for Taylor
look.
Tuck.
Good vision.
Rack up a big assist there for Massengale. Kiana Johnson will try from long range. Big hoop. Massengale brings it ahead, right by two defenders, dishes it off. Mercedes Griffin going baseline, but she's cut off, and a foul there on Kiana Johnson, and she's not happy with that one.
Whitney Young's starting to try to double team a little bit, and if they do that, there's going to be some nice openings on the weak side.
It's only the first foul on Kiana Johnson. Nobody really in foul trouble for Whitney Young. A couple girls with 2 fouls. Kosia Henry driving. Now backs away.
All the Bolingbrook kids on the floor right now have great ball skills to be able to handle the ball. And
tough shot for Massengale, but she'll go to the line.
And pass the ball. They're just using her body, getting in. She knew she was going to get fouled.
She is a strong player. She's fighting her way through that defense, drawing the contact, and still getting the shot off.
Probably didn't even try to make that basket so much. Just try and draw the foul and get to the free throw line.
She is the leading scorer for Bolingbrook with 11 and now 12. Taylor Tuck is next in line with 10 points. You see Shanice Jenkins, number 13, coming back in for Whitney Young, and Braisha Blair going out. Massengale sinks that one as well. Johnson quickly up the floor. They have a foul against the Raiders. That goes against Nicosia Henry. She is in some foul trouble now with number 4. The luxury both of these teams have is they're not afraid to go to their bench because there's a lot of talent on both of these benches.
Yeah, there sure is. A lot of depth.
Johnson thought about the bomb from the bench. Higher percentage shot won't drop. Massengale pushing the temple again. Kennedy Cattenhead, number 3, is into the game. She has the ball now for the Raiders. Griffin, the spin move, lost the handle on it. Johnson's got it. Here come the Dolphins. Johnson. Almost a travel there by Askew, but she gets it up and in.
There's a little fumble there, but she was able to control, go up with the left hand.
Boy, it is a race right now. Speed racer, Speedy Gonzalez there, and Ariel Massengale pushing the tempo on the dribble. That horn signals a timeout, and we're going to take a local timeout here on the IHSA TV network. Championship game in Class 4A here at Redbird Arena. Bolingbrook, the defending champs, looking to repeat, leading Whitney Young 33-22. You see some of the Bolingbrook fans there who hope to be celebrating big time. And you know, Mercedes Griffin for Bolingbrook is celebrating her 18th birthday here today. And what a party it would be for her on her birthday to get a championship. Love some of those Bolingbrook fans. We saw them here last year. Those three gentlemen were dressed up as swashbucklers, and they are back with us once again. John Wellen, David Zucker, and Rich Davis. Love that enthusiasm.
Yeah, they got their three-point shooting specialist in for Bolingbrook now, Hill.
Massengale on the drive, misses. Tuck got a hand on it, but the Dolphins come away with it. Shanice Jenkins. And an uncontested shot there by Janae Thompson. Don't see too many uncontested shots in this game. Griffin, the birthday girl here. Happy birthday there.
Left hand with, going to the other side of the basket.
She has 5 points in this game. Jenkins gives it up to Johnson.
Johnson looking for the high screen and roll.
And Morgan Tuck has picked her up. She's going to drive on Tuck and score. Oh my. Let's look at that again. Fearless Johnson. And Morgan Tuck picks up her 4th foul, and that's the most important thing, most important result out of that play.
Just didn't move her feet, tried to block the shot. Johnson kind of dove into her a little bit, but the contact drove the foul.
We still have a long way to go in this one. 3:43 in the 3rd quarter, and Tuck's going to have to spend some time on the bench now. She has only 5 points in this game. She's 2 of 7 from the field. But just her presence along with her size out there makes a huge difference. All right, Whitney Young trying for the turnover. Almost. Massengale pushes it. Down low to Capers, and she can't handle it.
Capers just wasn't ready for that play. She didn't square her body and get ready, get her hands ready, and the ball just was a beautiful pass, and she just didn't get bent over enough.
This one's starting to get very interesting. Young back within 8 points. Morgan Tuck on the bench in foul trouble. And a long way to go. Tiana Johnson near midcourt. Janae Thompson from downtown, no. Massengale the board, quick outlet for Taylor Tuck. And she misses it. Out of bounds off Shanice Jenkins, so Bolingbrook will get another shot at it.
Just had a bad angle on that, and she went up with her right hand instead of her left, so she was a little too far underneath the basket.
Bolingbrook getting out on the break. Ariel Massengale with a great court vision, always looking down the floor for somebody open. Ashley Oliver is number 10 now with the basketball into the game.
She picked up her dribble. She's in big trouble. You can't pick up your dribble at the post.
Taken away there by Janae Thompson, but a traveling call, and Corey Irvin is not happy with that call. Do you sense the pressure is getting turned up just a notch here in this big game? Very intense right now.
The coach is going to bring Tuck back in the ballgame with 4 fouls.
Here she comes. Boy, if you're Whitney Young, you got to be thinking, let's try to go at her and see if we can get that number 5.
They're going to try and switch her out on defense, I'm sure.
Coach Smith directing his offense there. You see him standing up off his bench. Massengale going to the hole to Capers. Up the mark. She kind of rushed that shot. Here come the Dolphins. The momentum is shifting in their favor. Kiana Johnson for the deep three, short. Massengale with a great court vision looking down floor. Capers has position, they don't give it to her. Running shot by Oliver won't go. Askey came away with it there. Whitney Young trying to trim it down some more, and there's an unforced turnover on the palm.
That's a rule that the IHSA wanted to use as one of their points of emphasis a couple of years ago, and it hasn't been called a whole lot. But once the ball comes to a rest on the top of your hand, or your hand gets to the side of the ball, they're supposed to call that palm in the ball, and they've been doing it in this game.
Yeah, we've seen it twice in this game. Outside shot by Bolingbrook will not fall for Alex Hill. Janae Thompson with it, a little out of control. Johnson's open, big basket. She has really stepped it up here in the third quarter, and don't look now, it's a 5-point
they're trying to trap.
And there's another palming call. You can hear the Dolphin fans cheering behind us. It's suddenly a different game.
Well, Whitney Young's putting the trap on, and Ariel Massengale's not handling the ball, and that's a big problem for Bolingbrook, even as good of ball handlers as they are. They got to get out of the traps. They got to get Massengale controlling the tempo and handling that basketball.
Kiana Johnson, number one, has erupted in this quarter. She has 14 points. She's getting a little breather right now, and we're going to have a foul called on Bolingbrook. This is on Ariel Massengale. She only has 2 fouls on her.
High pick and roll they're trying to use. Travel or a foul?
Yep, no travel. Turnovers continue to mount here.
When you leave off at 2 feet and go to 1 foot, you really can't, and then you pick up it's 2-2 travel.
Whitney Young has 13 turnovers. Bolingbrook has 16 turnovers. Massengale cannot get open. And we got a timeout in the nick of time there for Bolingbrook to avoid the turnover.
Third Bolingbrook timeout. You don't get a lot in these games because of the TV timeouts.
No doubt about it, we go hard. Yeah, both teams are going hard in this one right now. Let's go to Lee Hall. Lee?
All right, we are with the Summit Argo Band, and we're headbanging out. I wish I had hair like that. Maybe extensions. This is death metal. This is not 25 or 6-4. Bob Good is their instructor, their main man, and they are giving it up for the fans. They all want to be on TV. Somebody in the back row says send police. I'm not sure it's that serious. But let's give it up for the Argo High School Pep Band and Bob Good. We're thrashing, man. We're thrashing.
All right. Be careful there, Lee. Don't strain any muscles up there. All right, well, boy, the momentum has shifted here, Darryl, in this third quarter. Whitney Young's got it rolling now. Morgan Tuck, though, is still in the game now for Bolingbrook here as they have the ball.
She's in the game offensively.
Taylor Tuck, can she get it inbound? She does there as Massengale flashes to get it. Henry lost it off her shoe out of bounds.
Pass and catch, the most important things of the game. Pass and catch.
Anthony Smith going right to his bench here as number 10 Ashley Oliver comes back in and number 12 Mercedes Griffin. Kosia Henry will take a seat and Morgan Tuck's going to come back out. Well, we got quite the championship battle going between these two teams who are meeting for the third straight year in the title game. Kiana Johnson has been huge in the second half. She goes to the basket, missed it, but Griffin got a piece of her. She is fearless, Kiana Johnson.
Just got to keep them off the baseline, and if they get by you, they got to rotate over. They're not getting any weak side help at all.
She is far and away the leading scorer for her team tonight with 14 points. Left that one short. It was a 13-point lead at halftime for Bolingbrook, now a 5-point lead. Bolingbrook has led all the way here. Johnson gets that one to go.
Yeah, she split her last 2 free throw efforts.
Henry double team, finds Morgan Tuck, picks up her dribble.
Here comes a trap and a cheese.
Taylor Tuck needs some help. Massengale finally gets free there. And contact there by Shanice Jenkins.
That's the second time that a Bolingbrook player has picked up their dribble up on the Redbird. And you don't want to do that. It's too far away. You pick up your dribble. You got no one to pass the ball to.
Boy, nothing comes easy against this Whitney Young defense. They are all over you in your jersey. Lene Harper is back into the game for Whitney Young, number 15. It's Massengale against Johnson.
Coach Henry's handling the ball a lot more than Massengale right now.
Not a lot of movement without the basketball by Bolingbrook. And here is a steal. Johnson batting it away and taking it away. Spins on Massengale. Oh, it will not go. All right, she's playing a heck of a
help.
game.
They're going to run away from her.
Coach Henry gets out of that double team. Down low for Capers. Yes.
That's the first inside basket for Bolingbrook in a long time, and that's where they need to go right now.
24 points in the paint, but most coming in the first half. Johnson delivers again. Wow, 18 for her, but Capers is alone, and she fumbles it out of bounds. Well, the adrenaline's flowing right now. Nerves a little on edge. 14 seconds to go in this quarter.
Whitney Young's got a chance to get within 2 or tie the game.
Well, this is not followed last year's script. Last year, Whitney Young never got back into it. Tonight, they're certainly in it right now. Jay Thompson, no. Rebound snatched down by Capers. 2 seconds on the clock. Will they get the shot off? No. Wow, an exciting third quarter there, and Whitney Young is very much alive. The Dolphins back into it. Don't go away. We'll take this network timeout. Whitney Young scored only 16 points in the first half. They put 14 on the board in that third quarter. Your Menards statistics through 3 quarters. Save big money at Menards. All right, field goals about even. Rebounds still in favor of Bolingbrook. Story in that quarter, the foul trouble for Morgan Tuck.
That plus the fact that when Bolingbrook's playing Capers and Tuck together inside, Capers can't get out and guard the perimeter, and that's what happened on the last 3. She didn't get out and guard that 3-point shot. She was standing inside, and Whitney Young had a nice open look at the basket. So, what are you going to do? You're going to play 2 big kids inside and try and handle the inside, or are you going to, defend on the perimeter with your quick guards? Right now, I think they need to defend on the perimeter and not give them those 3-point shots.
Join us the next 2 weekends from Peoria, where we will have the boys' state championship tournaments. Whitney Young trying to cut into that lead some more, but that's an air ball. Massengale pushing it ahead. Pulls up from 15. Kiana Johnson, what a third quarter for her. Playing with a lot of confidence, some contact, no whistles. Capers the rebound. Kiana Johnson has 18 points to lead Whitney Young. The turnovers have been a major issue for Bolingbrook in this game.
See, right now with Tuck out of the game, they only have 1 big person in their guarding on the perimeter, much better.
Mercedes Griffin, the birthday girl, had it poked away from behind, but Johnson gets whistled for the foul. Johnson has 3 fouls.
This situation right here is where Fallon Edwards would really help Bolingbrook.
Good point. Let's see if the Raiders can get a quality shot off here. Massengale around the Capers pick, right to the lane, and she draws the foul. No question about that, Chubb.
No rotation on the Whitney Young defense there either. It's pretty much man-to-man. They're staying with their people, and they're not really getting inside to help out, take those charges.
Massengale, no question, the leader of this Bolingbrook team, especially with Tuck on the bench. Hits that shot. A lot of D1 players on this Bolingbrook team. Mercedes Griffin's going to head to Marquette. Nicosia Henry will be playing ball at Seton Hall next year. Shaneri Hosey going to Murray State, and you know Massengale and Tuck eventually will be playing D1 ball, but they're underclassmen still going through that recruiting process.
They are playing D1 ball. They're at Bolingbrook. Probably better than Seton Hall or Marquette right now.
They could beat some D1 teams perhaps in the lower echelons here. March Madness, there it is on the faces of the fans, and as I mentioned moments ago, hey, you're all going to want to tune in again in the next 2 weekends when we come to you from Peoria for the boys' state tournaments.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented for the exclusive entertainment and non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction, rebroadcast, or other use of this program without the express written consent of the Illinois High School Association and cost broadcast sales is strictly prohibited.
Well, it is time to show. I mean, you don't want to leave anything on the floor now. This is it. This is the end of the year. It's all about these last 6 minutes and 51 seconds. Yep, Mercedes Griffin, we mentioned celebrating her 18th birthday. Earlier today, it was Lombard Montini doing all the celebrating as Montini won the 3A championship with a 64-51 win over Hillcrest, and we're just moments away from finding out who will reign in Class 4A. Ariel Massengale at the free throw line for Bolingbrook.
That foul on Johnson was her 4th. That could be a big one. Just picked up 2 quickies right here in the last couple minutes.
She remains on the floor. Janae Thompson trying to create, and she draws the foul. Capers, I believe, picking it up. Well, that's Whitney Young's game. It's not launching threes. It's taking it to the hole.
That's kind of a iffy call. You have verticality right there, and you can move backwards. You can move backwards and control your space, and it looked to me like Capers was moving backwards when she was run into. A lot of officials will say she's moving, but when you move backwards, you have the right to that space.
Big miss there by Thompson. Here comes Massengale the other way.
That's probably why she missed, because it might not have been a foul. Otherwise, she'd have made both of them.
Well, she was trying her hardest, I'm sure.
Oh, I know.
Massengale needs help. Down low for Capers, and she is fouled.
Capers has to finish those shots inside. She missed the last little crippy, and now here's another one that missed. That should have been a three-point play with her size and her ability inside.
Sometimes they rush those shots a little bit. Don't take that little instant there to square up to the bucket and go up strong.
Well, it's balance mostly. Most of the players, they try to get it off without getting their balance and the proper footwork.
Capers just a sophomore, we mentioned. And she's a sophomore. Morgan Tuck's a sophomore. So there's your twin towers for the next couple years for Bolingbrook. Number 30, Sierra Howard is coming to the game for the first time for Bolingbrook. Ashley Oliver takes a seat. Capers has 3 points tonight. Janae Thompson driving and pulling up and hitting.
And that's what she's good at. She goes to the right, she can really go up and elevate.
Massengale with the look ahead. Now underneath for Capers.
There she finished.
And we'll see how much longer Morgan Tuck stays on the bench in this one. As long as Bolingbrook's in the lead like this, they can afford to leave her there. Shot off the mark there. Backside board by Harper. Yes.
Harper's their leading rebounder as a guard. That's she's pretty tough in there.
Massengale is going to pull it back out. Around the pick from Taylor Tuck. Mercedes Griffin. Oh, a near steal attempt there by Thompson, and she got a hand in there, but she'll get called for the foul.
Yeah, they're trying to pick on the new kid. First time in the game.
Sierra Howard, yeah.
They're looking to double team her and see if they can rattle her a little bit. Now she gets to go to the free throw line.
She is a 5'6" junior, only averages 1.1 points per game. We didn't see her last night, I don't believe, unless it was the final seconds there of the game when they cleared the bench. Coach Smith's going to go to his bench again as Kennedy Cattenhead will return at the next buzzer. How about that? Free throw there for Sierra Howard.
That's pressure.
For two. All right, now we get that sub as Kennedy Cattenhead comes back in for Bolingbrook, and Howard did her job. She hit the 2 big free throws, and she checks out.
And she didn't turn the ball over.
Johnson on the dribble, wearing number 1. She has been number 1 in this game for Whitney Young. A ball batted around, and a good defense by Massengale to force that turnover.
That's kind of an ill-advised pass, throwing to somebody about 5'3" in the post area with Capers standing in there.
Tuck gets it in play to Griffin. There's the
trap. Nobody in the middle of the floor. The big players are just standing down, but they have enough ball skills to get by him.
Massengale on the dribble. Pulls it out again. In the lane, kick out.
Bolingbrook's trying to run a little bit of clock here and almost a travel. Draw the foul so they can get to the free throw line.
A reaching foul there. Massengale pulling the ball, but it was after the foul call. Janae Thompson picks up the foul. She has 3, so you have in foul trouble. Johnson has 4, and Jenkins has 4 for Whitney Young. Tuck has 5 for Bolingbrook. Let's take a local break. 4:35 to go in this championship game. Bolingbrook leading Whitney Young here, 44-38. Final 4 minutes and 35 seconds just ahead.
Bolingbrook's trying to control the tempo, control the ball, and get into the double bonus so they can get to the free throw line. It's a lot easier to shoot from the free throw line than it is from the perimeter sometimes.
See, there's some big names in foul trouble, and the fouls have really played into the second half here.
Well, the big one is Johnson. I mean, Johnson's got 4 fouls, and if she goes, they're going to have a hard time finding points. They need to catch up.
Ariel Massengale has played well, as you would expect her to play tonight. She has 15 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Every free throw from here on out is going to be so huge.
And it's just her decision-making and her basketball IQ that really helps out. Making the right pass at the right time to the right person, helping out. Stopping the turnover because she gets over and helps out.
She's handled this Whitney Young press about as well as anybody can. There's Kiana Johnson. And the baseline drive by Alexis Lloyd will not fall. Comes Massengale again. Just a whirlwind of motion, Massengale. Gets it away underneath. Big hoop there by Kennedy.
A nice diagonal pass right there.
Cattenhead with her first 2.
When you get trapped, it's always a diagonal that's open.
Thompson, tough runner in the lane is good. And she'll have a chance to make a 3. Back and forth we go. Just a little glove tap there on the hand from Cattenhead for the foul. Thompson's in double digits with 10 points.
Thompson is so good going to her right and elevating.
Missed free throw. Boot ball loose. The Dolphins have it. Corner shot. Shanice Jenkins can hit that, and she does.
Can't leave her open for a three.
Just what the doctor ordered there for Whitney Young. A 4-point ball game. Massengale working so hard against the press. Lob for Griffin. A lot of reaching there by Shanice Jenkins. And now a reaching foul will go against Janae Thompson. Morgan Tuck is in front of the scorer's table. She's going to come back in. Nicosia Henry's going to come back in also. And Massengale with 2 big free throws to come here. Here comes Tuck back in for Taylor Tuck. Morgan Tuck has only 5 points in this game, due largely to the foul trouble she's been in.
You saw Tony Smith look at Morgan Tuck and say, "Don't foul."
Yeah, another miss there. Both teams leaving a few points out there on the floor with the missed free throws here. Thompson.
She wants to go right again.
Shoots over Tuck and scores it.
She's got great elevation.
A 2-point ball game. Massengale's going to pull it out again. Nail biter time here for the fans of these 2 teams. Whitney Young fans chanting defense. Askew again is really trying to deny the ball inside to Tuck and doing a good job of it. Henry's dribbling. Now they try for Tuck, and there's Askew. She has played some big defense in the post here. Now we got a reaching foul on Griffin out front. And Whitney Young gonna try to knot this thing up. Mercedes Griffin, an outstanding defensive player, but too much reaching there. And Johnson has been the player of the night here for Whitney Young. She has 18 points, 5 of 9 though at the line.
She split her last couple free throws. Missed the first one and then made the second. So if it goes the way it should, this one will go right in.
A lot of concentration there, just will not drop. Morgan Tuck brings it ahead to Massengale, and she is fouled on the backside by Alexis Lloyd. Bolingbrook as a team is 16 of 21 at the free throw line tonight, so they're really cashing in there, whereas Whitney Young is 7 of 17.
And we're in the double bonus now, which takes a little bit of pressure off the free throw shooter.
In and out.
Or not.
Massengale is only 4 of 15 from the field, but she's been to the line a lot tonight. That's where she's getting the bulk of her points.
She's missed her last 3.
Boy, in and out again. Whitney Young will try to tie it or take a lead with a 3. Thompson, the dribble drive, yes, and we have a tie ball game. 12 to go. Henry bringing it ahead. Oh, almost a travel. Mercedes Griffin.
They're trying to deny the ball to Massengale, so someone else has to handle the offense.
Lloyd is guarding Massengale. Massengale dribbles right. Nicosia Henry with it. Lob down low for Morgan Tuck, double team, she's got it, and she scores.
That was a nice pass to the offside. She read the defense real well and just lobbed it into her.
That's her first points since the first half. Johnson, the leading scorer for Whitney Young, too hard off the glass, battle for the rebound. Henry comes away with it, and she is fouled. Is that Johnson?
That's Johnson's 5th foul. Should be out of the ball game.
That is huge.
Morgan Tuck didn't control that ball, but she got both hands on it and just kind of deflected it out of the area.
Johnson fouls out with 1:23 to go in this one. Her team down by 2. She has 18 points and does a great job of handling the ball. Well, free throw's critical this time. It'll be Nicosia Henry who gets her opportunity.
Well, that comes down to Shanice Jenkins now is going to have to make a big shot or two.
Henry with a big exhale after making that free throw. Three points tonight. And now 4 as she's 2 of 2 at the line.
It's the roll.
Big possession here.
Don't want to foul. That's what you do not want to do if you're Bolingbrook.
Janae Thompson running the show now with Johnson out. Awkward shot, no good, and a shoving foul underneath. Is that on Tuck? Nope, it's on Mercedes Griffin, okay. Yeah, Mercedes Griffin, though, is just fouled out of the game. Coach Smith taking his time for the sub. It'll be Sierra Howard back in for Mercedes Griffin, so Griffin ends the night here with 5 points. Some pretty good defense once more. Janae Thompson. The big free throws coming up here.
Well, we're going to have all-out pressure if she makes this ball.
It's a 3-point game as Tuck calls in the rebound. Ahead for Massengale. Now for Tuck. Quick look for Capers. Big basket.
Nice hands. That wasn't the easiest pass in the world to catch there.
5-point lead. Janae Thompson creating. Scoop up, no, too hard. Capers a big rebound, and a whistle stops the play. And they'll walk to the other end as the foul goes on Whitney Young. Push-off goes against Jillian Askew. And if she can sink these free throws, that would be huge and really put the pressure on the Dolphins. Capers is only a 47% free throw shooter on the season. It's that one.
I think she did best on that last play was catching the ball. That was that pass from Tuck. About 10% of the girls that play basketball would have caught that.
Two big free throws for Capers, and now it's a 55-48 Bolingbrook lead. And no time to waste here for the Dolphins. They got to get some shots off in a hurry. Timeout going to be taken by Coach Irvin. All right, we'll be back for the final seconds of this one after this network timeout. Well, looking back at this one now, 55-48 is your score. That's the most important thing. Neither team with a timeout left. Both teams with 10-team fouls, so a lot of free throws to come here in the final seconds, and the possession arrow is in favor of Whitney Young.
Well, if you're Bolingbrook, you don't want to foul. You want the clock to run. You want them to convert, even if they get by you for a layup. If you're Whitney Young, you're going to have to foul, so Bolingbrook's going to be at the line a lot.
The state championship trophy is on standby here. Who will get it? Bolingbrook for the second straight year. Whitney Young with 40.8 seconds on the clock has to get into hurry-up mode here, which is nothing new for them. Janae Thompson with it. Can't shoot. Aisha Blair with a nice drive. Let's see if Whitney Young can foul here. Chasing after Henry. Still no foul.
They're wasting a lot of time without fouling.
And finally, they reach in and foul Morgan Tuck. Aisha Blair commits the foul.
They ran about 8 seconds off the clock there. They could have fouled right away, but we're a little slow doing that.
Tuck's a pretty good free throw shooter, 75% for the season. That's a big one. She's in double digits now with 10 points. 6-point game. Couple threes needed here by the Dolphins. Thompson will launch the first one way off the mark. Massengale comes down with it. And they have to foul her now. Shanice Jenkins got her. And the celebration has started for Bolingbrook. Fans jumping up and down for Bolingbrook. 12.3 seconds, most likely away from another state championship, which would be their third since 2006. In 2006, Bolingbrook knocked off Belleville Althoff for the title. And last year, of course, they defeated Whitney Young for the title. Jenkins is out of the game now with her 5th foul. 15 points, good effort by her. Actually, she has 3 points.
Made that big three from the corner.
Massengale hits a free throw, so it's now a 3-possession game. The other 4 Raiders are all back at the defensive end of the court, leaving Massengale by herself. 2 big ones there for her. Thompson brings it ahead and will get the shot off. Karam's off. Morgan Tuck cradles the rebound. And she is fouled, and no doubt about it now, that big trophy once again is going to go back to Bolingbrook. Never anything too easy. Looked like at halftime it might be somewhat easy, but Whitney Young made a valiant comeback here in the second half.
Whitney Young got their 3-point shot going a little bit and made it a ball game. Getting back in the game, getting to the free throw line.
Tuck with a free throw, so she's just a sophomore and she's going to have 2 state championships under her belt. All right, that's going to do it. So the final seconds, we'll tick off the clock here. And it is all over. The Bolingbrook Raiders, for the 2nd straight year, are the 4A state champions in Illinois. Their 3rd title in 5 years, and you can see by that outpouring of emotion, it never gets old.
It never gets old.
I mean, that's what you work all year for, is this one moment, and they're the only team in 4A that gets to experience this feeling. Another tough one to walk away from for Whitney Young for the 2nd straight year. What a team, though. Well, we've seen some of the best players in the state, some of the best players in the nation here. And the best team in the state now, without much question, the Bolingbrook Raiders. Anthony Smith there, the head coach of Bolingbrook, shaking hands, a graduate of Bolingbrook. Was a football player in his day. So they're gonna bring out the trophies, the medals, and in just a few moments we'll pass out the hardware. Our leading scores again, Massengale had 18, Taylor Tuck had 10, and Morgan Tuck with 10 for the champions. Let's go to Lee, who is with the champions.
All right, we're with Anthony Smith, 2 in a row, Coach. This one looked like it might be another blowout like last year for a little while, but they made it tough on you tonight.
Whitney Young played, I mean, they are a very tough team, and I'm proud of our kids, Bolingbrook, repeating. Whitney Young played us tough. Wasn't easy, but we'll take it.
Absolutely. What to you is the difference in this ball game for Bolingbrook?
our kids was just a little bit tougher. At the end, they stayed with it, stayed focused, and got it done.
Congratulations, Coach. Go enjoy.
Thank you.
All right, our Country Financial Player of the Game, Ariel Massengale, right? Is that you? That's you, honey. I'm just making sure. Congratulations. I believe 22 points, I'm being told now. Congratulations. Tell me about this game down the stretch. You guys didn't make a lot of free throws down the stretch. You made it a little tougher on yourself. Tell me about the feeling.
It's an amazing feeling just to be able to repeat. It's something we had the opportunity to do a couple years ago, and we weren't able to get it done. But just to come out the way we stuck the other team and play hard for 32 minutes tonight.
Okay, I think you had 16 points tonight. You had 22 as a freshman, 8 in the game last year in the championship. Tell me about how all that experience helped you girls win this game tonight. You've been here, done that.
Oh, it helped us. I mean, when Morgan being here, Taylor Tuck, we had our same group back from last year. We only lost 2 seniors. I think the experience helped us. We went out there and played hard tonight.
Boy, Bolingbrook, I mean, it's not a state title game without Bolingbrook anymore, is it?
No, it isn't.
Ariel, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Ariel Massengale now, I'm told, with 18 points, our Country Financial Player of the Game. Let's go to Jeff Fritzen for the award ceremony. Thanks, dear.
Dr. Joyce Kenner of Whitney Young, Dr. Jeanette Knuckles of Normal Community, and Greg Bradley of Mount Zion. At this time, let's meet the Dolphins of Whitney Young High School, who finished the 2009-10 season in the second place with a final record of 28 wins and 3 losses. First meet the Sports Administration Director of the Chicago Public League, Calvin Davis. Principal, Dr. Joyce Kenner. Athletic Director, Chris Cassidy. Trainer, Shayna Scott. Head coach, Corey Irvin. Assistant coach, Daryl Carter. Assistant coach, Valerie Spann. Assistant coach, Hank Hicks. Manager, Ariel Brookins. And the Dolphin squad members, 00, Candence Kennedy. Number 1, Kiana Johnson. Number 4, Vicky Thompson. Number 10, DeAndrea Hawkins. Number 11, Janae Thompson. (13) Shanice Jenkins. Number 15, Lene Harper. Number 22, India Campbell. (24) Bryisha Blair. Number 31, Jeroma Webb. Number 32, Alexis Lloyd. (33) Laquita Garner. (34) Jillian Askew. Number 44, Valencia Dickerson. And number 55, Dija Disu. At this time, please meet the Raiders of Bolingbrook High School, who finished the season in first place with a final record of 29 wins and 1 loss. First, meet the superintendent of Bolingbrook High School, Dr. Philip Shawstall. Principal James Mitchum, Jr. Athletic Director Alec Anderson. Trainer Maddie Kamiskas. Head coach Anthony Smith. Assistant coach Janae Graham. Assistant coach Evan Burkott. Assistant coach Aaron Woods. Assistant coach Nicholas Wunschel. Assistant coach Willie Smith. Manager Courtney Brown. Manager Jasmine Oliver. And the Raider squad members, number 3, Kennedy Cattenhead. Five, Kiara Curry. Number 10, Ashley Oliver. #12, Mercedes Griffin. #14, DeLacy Anderson. Number 15, Taylor Tuck. #22, Ariel Massengale. Number 24, Fallon Edwards. Number 30, Sierra Howard. #32, Alexandria Hill. #34, Nicosia Henry. Number 40, Shanari Hosey. #44, Morgan Tuck. And number 50, Cabriana Capers. And now will Coach Irvin and the captains of Whitney Young High School please step forward to receive the Class 4A second place trophy. And now will Coach Smith and the captains of Bolingbrook High School step forward to receive the Class 4A first place trophy as the Raiders defend their Class 4A state championship.
capture Kodak moment for Bolingbrook High School, repeat state champions, and I'm sure they'll celebrate tonight and probably tomorrow start thinking about how do we get a three-peat.
They probably will. It was a game effort by an undersized Whitney Young team. I mean, they really gave them a fight all the way to the finish. Bolingbrook in the end just had too much inside. The two inside kids, Tuck and Capers, really did a nice job.
Let's check out, it's either our stats or our highlights we're going to look at. Okay, it's our final stats here from Menards. Save big money at Menards. All right, the rebounds totally in favor of Bolingbrook there, 45-27. And if Whitney Young if the goal is to get by Bolingbrook next year, they're going to have to find some size somewhere.
Yeah, it's something that's going to have to happen if they're going to get by them. But the thing is, both of these teams have outstanding point guards. Teams that win championships have a point guard that's outstanding, like Massengale and Johnson. And that's the key to everything. I mean, you start your team with that. So they both have them coming back, and we'll see what happens next year.
All right, those are the numbers that matter the most, 60-50, which was our final score here tonight. We're going to take one last time out. You see the personal scoring leaders. Johnson doing a great job for Whitney Young with 18 points to lead the way. Massengale with 18, our Country Financial Player of the Game for Bolingbrook. We'll take one last time out, a local timeout, and we'll be back to wrap it up next. We are not taking a timeout, okay? We're going to wrap it up right now. Daryl, been great to work with you once again this year, and look forward to next season here. And for the rest of you at home watching us, we hope you've enjoyed it, and we hope you'll join us the next 2 weekends in Peoria with the boys' state tournaments here on the IHSA network. Congratulations again to Bolingbrook, your 4A state champs, and Lombard Montini, your 3A champs. Here's a local timeout.